The watermelon wasn't always an anti-black racist trope in the US. It originally had a different meaning. Similar to the symbolism of the watermelon in the Palestinian movement for liberation, it represented the freedom and emancipation of black people from slavery. But that didn't last, because any attempt at black self-determination and independence was met with opposition and violence. This is a story of the fragility of supremacy, and to tell it, we need to go back in time to the end of the American Civil War. Following emancipation and the end of slavery in the US in the 1860s, many Southern African Americans refused to work or sharecrop on white-owned farms. They began cultivating their own land. Many grew and sold watermelons and started to develop their own economic and financial independence. The fruit became a material symbol of their freedom. This independence infuriated Southern white people because it threatened their racial order. Remember, a large part of their ideology was that black people were not ready for freedom, and that was being proven wrong, aided and abetted by watermelon. This is when they decided to unleash their insidious plan. They wanted to take this image of freedom and destroy it. So they decided to weaponize the watermelon into an ugly stereotype. Through a deliberate and elaborate narrative, they aimed to reinforce the idea that black people were lesser than and inherently incapable of being independent human beings. And it went as follows. 1. Black people were lazy. This was represented by how easy it was to grow watermelons because they didn't require much work. The stereotype was further reinforced by the image that because watermelons were hard to eat, black people would be consumed with eating them rather than doing any work at all. 2. Black people were unclean. This was shown through exaggerated depictions of how messy it is to eat a watermelon. The subtext behind this was purity of race, and that this one was not pure. 3. That black people are childlike, with the implication that they needed overseers or masters. This was shown by suggesting that a watermelon was a fruit only a child would like because it is sweet, colorful, and devoid of much nutritional value. This narrative, fueled by these racist stereotypes, blew up and really took off in the 1900s. It was part of the popular culture and showed up in songs, minstrels, posters, postcards, books, TV shows, and films. It persists to this day. Even the first black president was a target of it. Cultural symbols have immense power to shape how we see the world and the people in it. That's why stories and narratives matter. They took what was once a symbol of freedom and turned it into a stereotype to reinforce racial supremacy and hierarchy while completely erasing its history. Because how fragile do you have to be to feel threatened by seeing other people enjoying their newfound freedom, living off land they owned, and becoming financially independent by selling watermelon? The answer is very threatened. As Palestinians, we have also adopted the watermelon as a symbol of our own struggle for freedom, because its colors match our flag that was banned by Israel. Their fragility is triggered from their drive to erase Palestinians and replace the native with the settler. So any sign or symbol of our identity or presence becomes an existential threat to them and their ideology. So instead of carrying the flag, people started carrying watermelons, and now it's everywhere. The watermelon is only one of many connections between the Black and Palestinian liberation struggles. Solidarity that goes back decades as they fight similar forces. Remember, we are not free until we are all free. My name is Salem, and I tell stories that connect the unexpected. Follow for more and support our work on Patreon.